Hello, dear friends. Have you ever heard of a writer whose words are still alive after more than 400 years? A man whose plays are performed in every part of the world? A storyteller who wrote about love, jealousy, power, and dreams in a way that still touches our hearts today? Yes, I'm talking about William Shakespeare, the greatest playwright in history. But Shakespeare didn't start rich or famous. He came from a small town. He didn't go to university. Many people didn't believe in him. Yet, he never gave up. In this story, we will walk through the full journey of William Shakespeare, from a small boy in a little town to a world-famous writer. His life will inspire you to follow your own dreams. If you're learning English, this story is perfect for you. It's written in simple and clear English, so you can enjoy reading, understand easily, and also improve your language skills. So let's begin this exciting journey together. Before we start, don't forget to like this story, leave a comment if you're enjoying it, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next inspiring stories. Now, are you ready? Let's step into the world of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564, in a small town called Stratford-upon-Avon in England. His father's name was John Shakespeare, and his mother was Mary Arden. John was a glove maker and also worked as a local businessman. Mary came from a family with land and money. William was the third child in a large family. He had 7 brothers and sisters. Life in Stratford was simple. There were no phones, no cars, and no electricity. People lived close to nature, worked hard, and followed old traditions. As a child, William was curious and loved stories. He went to a local grammar school, where he learned to read and write in Latin. The books were not easy, but he enjoyed learning. He read poems, old Roman stories, and histories. These early readings would later help him create his famous plays. Even though his family was not rich, they believed in education. But when William was a teenager, his father lost his business. Life became harder. William had to leave school early and help the family. Still, the love for words stayed in his heart. He listened to people in the streets, watched the festivals in the town, and learned how people talked and behaved. All of these would later become part of his writing. People in Stratford said young William had a good memory and liked acting. He and his friends sometimes performed small plays at school or at local events. These moments gave him his first taste of the theater. But no one knew yet. This boy from a small town would one day change the world with his stories. When William was just 18 years old, something very big happened in his life. He got married. The woman's name was Anne Hathaway, and she was 26 years old, 8 years older than William. She lived in a village not far from Stratford. Some people say Anne was already expecting a baby when they got married. Just 6 months after the wedding, their first child was born, a daughter named Susanna. Later, the couple had twins, a boy named Hamlet and a girl named Judith. Now, William was a young husband and father with big responsibilities. Life in Stratford was not easy. He needed money to take care of his family. But there were not many good jobs in the small town. William wanted more. He wanted something bigger. So, sometime in his early 20s, William left his family in Stratford and moved to London, the capital of England. It was a bold step. No one knows exactly when or how he went, but we do know this. He went there with hope, talent, and big dreams. London was full of life. It was busy, noisy, and full of opportunities for young men who were clever and creative. William found work in the theater world. At first, he may have done small jobs, helping actors, writing small parts, or maybe even working behind the stage. But William was watching. He was learning, and he was writing. Soon, people noticed him. His words were powerful. He understood human emotions deeply: love, fear, jealousy, ambition. He started writing plays that made people laugh, cry, and think. His first plays were full of action and strong characters. One of his early works was a history play called Henry VI. It became popular quickly. At the same time, William also started writing poems. When theaters closed for a time because of the plague, he wrote a long poem called Venus and Adonis. It became a hit. Even people who didn't like plays enjoyed his poems. By the early 1590s, William was becoming famous in London. His plays were being performed by one of the best theater groups, the Lord Chamberlain's Men. He was not just writing plays, he was also acting in them. But while William's star was rising in London, his family was still in Stratford. He visited them when he could, but most of his time was spent in the city, working hard, writing, performing, and building his name. His son, Hamlet, sadly died at the age of just 11 years old. This broke William's heart. Some people believe that the deep sadness in some of his later plays came from this personal loss. Even so, William continued writing. His early success was only the beginning. He was becoming a true artist, and the world was starting to see his greatness. When Shakespeare became more known in London, people started coming to see his plays more often. It didn't matter if they were rich or poor. Everyone wanted to hear his words and watch the stories he created. This was the start of his golden years, a time when he wrote some of the most famous plays in history. One of his early big hits was Romeo and Juliet. It told the story of two young people from families who hated each other, but the two fell deeply in love. Their story was full of romance, danger, and sadness. People cried when they watched it. The words were beautiful, and the emotions felt real. This play made Shakespeare very popular. But he didn't stop there. Next, he wrote A Midsummer Night's Dream, a funny and magical play with fairies, love potions, and crazy dreams. It made people laugh and enjoy the beauty of imagination. Then came The Merchant of Venice, which asked deep questions about kindness, fairness, and forgiveness. As Shakespeare's fame grew, something amazing happened. He became part owner of a theater company called the Lord Chamberlain's Men. Later, the name changed to the King's Men after King James I supported them. This was very important. It meant Shakespeare was now earning good money, not just from writing plays, but also from the business of theater itself. In the year 1599, his company built a new theater in London. They called it the Globe Theater. It was big, round, and open to the sky. People loved going there. Rich people sat on seats, and poor people stood in front of the stage. Everyone came to enjoy the power of storytelling. Imagine being in the Globe Theater when Hamlet was performed for the first time. No microphones, no lights, no music, just powerful words and amazing acting. People were silent, listening closely to every line. Or sometimes they laughed and clapped loudly. Theater was alive. Between 1599 and 1611, Shakespeare wrote some of the greatest plays ever written. Hamlet, a story about a sad prince who wants to take revenge, but is full of questions and fears. Othello, a powerful tale of love, jealousy, and betrayal. King Lear, about a proud old king, his daughters, and how everything falls apart. Macbeth, a dark story about ambition and the terrible things people do to get power. These plays were more than just stories. They showed real emotions: fear, guilt, love, hate, sadness. Shakespeare understood people deeply. That's why his work still touches us today. During this time, he also wrote sonnets, short poems, each with 14 lines. He wrote 154 sonnets, many of them about love, beauty, and time. People still study them and love their beauty. Even though Shakespeare lived and worked in London, he never forgot his hometown, Stratford-upon-Avon. He used the money he earned to buy a large house there called New Place. It was one of the biggest homes in town. He began spending more time in Stratford again. But something very sad happened in his personal life. His only son, Hamlet, died when he was just 11 years old. This broke Shakespeare's heart. Some people believe that the deep sadness in some of his later plays came from this painful loss. In the last years of his writing, Shakespeare wrote The Tempest, a play full of magic, forgiveness, and peace. Some people believe this was his way of saying goodbye to the world of theater. By now, William Shakespeare was not just a successful writer. He was a legend. His plays were loved by kings and by crowds. His words were repeated by students and poets. He had created something that would last forever. He changed English theater. He changed English poetry. He changed the world. After many years of writing and working in London, William Shakespeare began to spend more time in his hometown, Stratford-upon-Avon. He had become successful, earned enough money, and now wanted a quieter life. He moved into his big house, new place, and started living more peacefully. He didn't stop writing completely, but he slowed down. He was no longer in the noisy theaters or busy streets of London. Instead, he was with his family, walking in the garden and enjoying calm days. Some of his final plays were written with the help of other writers. These last works included plays like The Two Noble Kinsmen and Henry VIII. But many people believe that his final solo masterpiece was The Tempest, a beautiful story about magic, forgiveness, and letting go. In The Tempest, the main character is a magician named Prospero who decides to give up his powers and return home. Many people think this character was a symbol of Shakespeare himself, as if he was saying goodbye to the world of theater and magic. In 1613, a fire burned part of the Globe Theatre during a performance of Henry VIII. Although it was later rebuilt, this event marked the end of Shakespeare's active life in the theater world. Now in Stratford, Shakespeare lived as a respected gentleman. He enjoyed being with his family and old friends. People in the town knew him not just as the famous writer, but also as a kind and thoughtful man. Then, in 1616, something unexpected happened. William Shakespeare became sick. No one knows exactly what illness he had, but it got worse quickly. On April 23, 1616, he passed away. Strangely, this was also his birthday. He died at the age of 52. He was buried at Holy Trinity Church in Stratford. On his grave, there is a short poem that warns people not to move his bones. Some believe Shakespeare wrote the words himself. The lines are simple but strong, just like the man who changed the world with his words. But even after his death, Shakespeare's story wasn't over. 7 years later, in 1623, two of his close friends and fellow actors, John Hemmings and Henry Condell, decided to collect all of his plays and publish them in one big book. This book was called the First Folio. Without this book, many of his greatest plays, like Macbeth, Twelfth Night, and Julius Caesar, might have been lost forever. Thanks to them, and thanks to the power of Shakespeare's writing, his plays were kept alive. And they didn't just survive. They grew. They spread. They inspired people all over the world. Today, more than 400 years later, Shakespeare's plays are performed in every language. His words are studied in schools. His characters, like Romeo, Hamlet, and Lady Macbeth, are known in every country. There are festivals, films, and books all about him. William Shakespeare became more than a man. He became a legend, a voice that still speaks to our hearts. Why? Because he understood people. He showed us love and hate, hope and fear, joy and pain. He made us laugh, he made us cry, he made us think. And he did all of this with nothing but words. And now, dear friends, you have just learned the story of William Shakespeare, the boy from Stratford who became the greatest writer the world has ever known. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring more inspiring and easy English stories to you every week. Tell us in the comments, which Shakespeare play do you want to learn more about? Or which famous person's life story should we do next? Thank you for being with us. See you in the next story.